My normal name is Steven, but I always say Biqtch is from Atlanta because that's where I kind of came up in the drag scene and learned how to look like a hot-ass mess. But yeah, I grew up in a military family, and you know, when I came out to them, I was obviously scared because we grew up to church, and it was like, well, every time we went to church, it was like, gays are not okay. And I was like, well, shit, I kind of like dick, I'm sorry. So when I came out, my mom was like, hey, like, she's a sarcastic little bitch like me. And I was Skyping her, and I was like, hey, Mom, it's Parents' Weekend. I have something to tell you coming up from my college. I have something to tell you. And she's like, what, you gay? And then I start fucking crying.
Wow.
I'm like fully like, she goes, oh, baby, you're gay? Sorry, like, let's talk about it. And then, you know, we talked about it. It was cool. She only had a downside was like I was always depressed in my room. I battled depression most of my life. Back on Wellbutrin, I think mental health is really fucking important. My family's been hit really hard this year with it. I'd rather not go into details, but mental health is something that runs in my family. And, you know, she always saw me in my room crying and kind of upset, and she would always come in and be like, hey, baby, what's wrong? And I'd be like, oh, nothing. And it was always that fact. I was hiding my true self, and she felt really bad about it. But we're best friends. My mom's my best friend. There's like videos of us doing cartwheels on stage, pouring beers on herself. She just came up to the show I did in Chicago with my grandmother and saw me in drag for the first time.
Amazing.
Grandmother got to see me in drag for the first time. It was cool.
Wow.
My dad thought I came out earlier in high school. There was a guy on my soccer team who came out, and he thought I came out, and I didn't tell him, and he kind of was hurt about that. But I was like, no, I like literally didn't tell anybody. And it was kind of hard at first for him to accept, but he came around when a sailor committed suicide or attempted suicide, and he would go visit him consistently because he was like, you know, CEO, he's the commander, and he would go visit him consistently. I think during those talks and spending time with him, he kind of opened his eyes a little bit. But I also clicked with him. It was crazy during Dragula watching me perform and doing it. And he was like, dude, like, I want your fucking t-shirt, and let's do Amazing Race after this, and like, let's fucking do it. So yeah, we have a great relationship. So, you know, military families kind of get a bad rap, but, you know, it taught me to be a perky bitch to go up and say, hi, how you doing? Instead of sit alone at the lunch
Right, because you
table.
were the new kid so many times.
Right.
And you experienced a lot of bullying in high school.
I did.
Not easy.
Not easy, but there's a saving grace. My uncle Tom introduced me to a wonderful fighting game called Tekken. So I would go home and play Tekken and Street Fighter constantly to get my aggression out with these hot video game vixens and like battle axes and thongs and kick the shit out of these dopey boys. So thank God for video games.
Yeah, because you could channel all your energy into that, and of course it started to become the inspiration for what became your art of now. Yes.
I almost got myself. This is a real night.
Biqtch Puddin was born in Atlanta. I think we have an early Biqtch Puddin pick right here.
Oh, where is it? That was actually my first weekend in Atlanta. I got my start in Savannah, went to Atlanta, and Little Legendary Children, where Violet Chachki is the collective that Violet Chachki, Eva Destruction was all part of. Bora was kind of involved with them later, and yeah, that's Baby Biqtch.
Oh my goodness.
I only shaved and I duct taped. I didn't realize there was things called gaffs. My dick thanks me now. You know?
Right, I bet.
You know, shout out to the girls that tuck. I like a fuzzy bush, so it just doesn't really work. It doesn't work.
Now, the name Biqtch Puddin came from Robot Chicken?
It did. It did. When I was coming up with the name, I was trying to figure out the most messiest name for a white girl. And I like the name Bitch, but I remember this iconic fucking thing on Robot Chicken. It's a little skit featuring Strawberry Shortcake and her messy neighbor, Biqtch Puddin. And there's this little girl that, like, her name's Apple Dumpin' in the canon, but she is trying to be named, and Strawberry Shortcake's like, you know, baby, it's okay, you know, we'll figure out your name. And, you know, names are very important because, you know, it follows you along for the rest of your life. And then the door opens and it's just Biqtch Puddin. It's like, oh, hello, Biqtch Puddin. And she cusses out the toddler and leaves. So I was like, sounds like a party.
That's me. Now, the first song you performed was Buttons by Pussycat Dolls.
It was Buttons by Pussycat Dolls. It was. I did it in a bathing suit, hog body. Well, not really hog body. I was skinny. I didn't eat a lot because we were in college. Ramen diet. But your bitch was feeling it. Shoe flying off and everything, but I was really feeling it. I think, when people ask, like, what should I perform for the first time, or I'm nervous about performing, I'm like, you listen to a song and you do it like you do it when you get off in the shower. Like, if you're listening to the buttons and you're feeling your fucking full fantasy, that's what you do on stage, and it usually helps people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you said on the beginning of Dragula that you needed to get thick skin to deal with the drag scene in Atlanta, honey.
Yes.
What was that first years in Atlanta drag like?
Shauna Brooks, Read a Bitch, the 8.5 11 by Shauna Brooks, Read a Bitch. Nicole Read a Bitch, Phoenix was fierce. It's just like Atlanta drag is an epicenter. And it's literally, I think, housed some of the best drag artists ever, like Violet, Eva, Abora, myself, Charlie Brown, the Goddess Raven, Sonika's from there. Like, literally, like, I think it's this epicenter of fierce-ass drag. And when you get into a city, or when you join a sorority or a fraternity, there's some hazing. But I learned quickly, a lot of people quit around me, but I learned pretty quickly, like, hey, like, if someone's taking their time to pot roast your ass, that means they see something in you. If they didn't give a fuck, they wouldn't say anything. So, those dressing rooms where, in the other show where E. Cheeseburger and Jay Lish would kind of, mentor me a bit, or whether it be my co-sister Brigitte Bidet, like, cussing my ass out, being like, girl, you showed up 10 minutes late. I can't have that again. And then I'd do it again, but she'd give me the spot anyway. But, like, that pot roasting developed in myself to set me up for the perfect position at Dragula, because when the girls were coming at me that first episode, I was like, this is a Friday night in a dressing room.
Right, you done
this
it.
Is fine. I don't give a fuck. Like, what you gonna do? Let's do it. I just wanna have fun.
Well, honey, you've had fun, but you've also dealt with some serious shit. I mean, you were diagnosed in 2014 with myocarditis, right?
Yes.
It's the condition of the heart muscle.
Right.
They told you could never perform again.
Yeah, right after I kind of took that funny picture of me, I literally was like told I got sick, had a random like heart infection, developed into this virus called myocarditis. Happens in very less % of the people. They don't know what causes it, and there's no cure. Wow. So it's like a virus that has to go through you. So I was told in the hospital, I was in the ICU, my parents just moved back to Guam. So like I literally had no family. I just moved to a new city, trying to make my name as a performer. And in drag, like especially if you're a young queen in a new city, you're in drag every fucking night. Like you're trying to get that random tip spot, the random, ooh, like I can do mixes for you. I can like hustle and all you can. And that's what I was trying to do. And I got sick because of it. I had to drop off. I had to take a whole semester off school. And yeah, I was told you could never perform again. You'll be lucky you'll be able to run. And a month later, I went to see a follow-up appointment. I made a miraculous recovery. You know, the troponin at the highest, which troponin is like this cell in your heart that's not supposed to exist at all. It's fatal in people who have a troponin at level 40 or 50. Mine, the highest was over 100.
Wow.
So like a fatal heart attack is like, 40 to 50, and I had like double that. So the doctor a month later was like, okay, like there's no permanent damage. I've never seen this shit before. You're lucky. And I think he said it was probably because of my age. In fact, I was like a performer and kind of like really healthy and fit, and I was like a vegetarian. He was like, literally, I've never seen this before. So I'm very lucky. A lot of people die from it. I have a lot of people message me whenever I tag it, being like, hey, like I lost my dad to this. I had it, and I'm nervous. I'm like in the hospital now. So it's kind of cool. I get to talk to people like that and be like, hey, it's okay. Trust. I know it feels. It literally felt. I woke up in the middle of the night and it felt like a knife.
Wow.
Was in my heart. And when you wake up and you're like, ooh, what's a, maybe you sleep on your side wrong. You're like a little sore. You're like, okay. And then I realized I was like trying to get back to sleep, and I was like, tears were rolling down my face. I woke up my roommate crying, Callie at the time, and she was like, girl, go back to bed. Thank God my other friend was on the couch sleeping, doing a film festival, and he was like, everything I'm looking up, bitch, we need to go to the ER, so let's go. So I'm here today. Can't kill a bitch.
Thank goodness. Now, how did you overcome such a major physical thing to get back out there on the stage and do it again?
I was on stage like seriously the week after I got out of the hospital, because I got into this competition that Phoenix did in Atlanta called Dragnificent. And I made it to like the top 2 in the first round. And literally this is like a thing that everybody came out to watch. They loved like supporting young drag artists. And I was like the crazy new arts kid on the scene doing crazy drag. I looked like fucking Twisted Sister in the face, like not blended, but I was like feeling my full fantasy and trying to give it to you. And I was like, you can't, I want to do it. I ended up going home that week, which is okay. And, you know, I came back and I just didn't want, I was pissed because I finally found something that I was passionate about. I finally saw something I could, like, you know, I got out of a bad relationship and I just, like, kind of put Steven into a cocoon and I put everything into Biqtch and I was like, we're gonna make this happen. It makes me, it's fun, the job is great. I kind of get paid to drink a little bit in college, that's fun. I'm still in school, so like I literally wanted to pursue it as much as I could. And, you know, I just kind of bucked up and got the fuck back out there. My dad would never let me quit a sport when he was like, you signed up, you go play. And I was like, all right. So, you know, I wanted to fucking get back out there more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, honey, you cannot keep a good bitch down.
Nope.
Now make sure you're following Biqtch Puddin on all social media, and don't forget to follow us at Hey Qween TV on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Black People Meet, J-Date. Erica, make up a website now.
Scary. Oh gosh, I had one, but it left my mind.
Think of another one now.
Boo.com.
Fine, but the Boulay brothers own that, I'm pretty sure. Now, speaking of the Boulay brothers, Biqtch, it's time to get into it.
Get into it. Get into it.
We're going to talk all about your time on Dragula.
Get into it.
Yes. Now, of course, you were the winner, so we know how this story ends.
Spoiler alert, if y'all didn't watch it home, it's on Netflix.
Yes,
I won.
Right. That's right.
Unlike other reality shows, I had to kill my fellow sisters for the crown.
Yes, you did.
For a
They
check that
all
was
died.
worth one victory of All Stars lip sync. So, you know.
Ain't it the truth?
It's a beautiful thing, you know? Thank you for the opportunity.
So now you watched season 1, but originally didn't think that you would fit in on Dragula.
Yeah, I watched season 1 on Hey Qween.
Oh, great. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Yes. Thank you for remembering.
Yeah.
People often forget it started here.
It started on Hey Qween. That's a piece of lint on my finger. You know, it's just hard going through hell and back.
Girl, it is what it is.
Yeah, I watched it on Hey Qween, and I was actually in a dressing room with Abora and Eva Destruction. We were on cast together every Friday night at the other show. So, like, I think the episodes were coming out, during the week. So you'd talk about, oh, bitch, did you see what Pinchie went home early? She should have stayed. Meatball was fucking hilarious. Like, oh my God, Vander's just gagging us every time. Melissa B. Fierce is fucking fierce. You know, like, we would just, like, gag every week and kind of kiki about the show. And, you know, Abora, of course, like, looks like the brand. Like, you know, she looks Dragula, and, like, at the time, Eva was doing more commercial stuff, but I know she was like gutter punk underneath it all. Like, you know, she's a furry. You know what I mean? Like, she gets down.
Right.
She's a furry man. She get down. But for myself, I was like, I don't really see myself in this world. And then I watched the episode where Loris dies, and Loris, you know, is dressed head to toe like an '80s call girl, and I was like, oh, I see myself there. Okay, so that kind of perked me up. And then they announced this pageant, a live pageant at DragCon.
Right.
And, you know, I was like, oh, well, I'll just bring some things. You know, if I decide I want to do it, I'll do it. But, you know, I'll just bring it, you know, just keep in case. And me and Meg kind of flew out. Shout out to Meg's mom, she paid for the ticket. Because Meg was tired of not buying weed legally, and she was like over it. She's like, bitch, I need to go to California. And I was like, okay, but like I kind of built myself in Atlanta finally. You know, I was on cast on shows, and I was making coin. I was like, I'm not moving to LA unless I know I have a home. Like, you know what I mean? I could go there and the bitches be shadier than here. Like, I don't even know. So we went to California, did DragCon, and I went to Precinct the night before, and I bumped into like Lucy Stool. I met like a hot guy that I used to follow on Twitter or Tumblr and jerk off to him, and he like took a selfie with me. I was like in some shitty drag, but I saw the Boulay brothers there, and Asha was performing, and I kind of got the vibe at Precinct, and I heard some people sucking dicks in the bathroom, and I was like, I could be here. I could move here. And they were talking about the pageant happening the next night. And I knew Abora was competing because she was campaigning online, like, fuck y'all haters, I hate you, come compete. And I was like, okay, I knew she was competing, but I brought some stuff. So the next day I dressed up for DragCon. I bumped into Vander earlier in the day, and the Dragula panel just got out. And Vander is like in a full, like, she just came off her win. She's just like shitting on people left and right, looking so fucking good.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting next to her. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I look like the knockoff version of the brand. She's like the main version of the brand.
Hello, children.
You're welcome.